The storm had passed, but the river was still angry. Days of relentless rain had swollen it far beyond its banks, turning farmland into marshland and roads into broken scars of mud and debris. Trees leaned at dangerous angles, their roots torn loose, as if the earth itself had given up trying to hold them. The air smelled of wet soil, decay, and something heavier, fear. Sergeant Emily Carter stood at the river's edge, boots sinking slowly into the mud. She had crossed rivers before, in training in combat zones under fire, but never one like this. This river wasn't loud with explosions or bullets. It was quieter, patient, and far more dangerous. Behind her, a wheelchair rested unevenly on the slope. In it sat Maria Alvarez, 26 years old, her hands gripping the armrests so tightly that her fingers trembled. Her clothes were damp from earlier rain, her dark hair plastered to her face. She hadn't stopped shaking since the rescue team reached her flooded home hours earlier. "This is the only way," Carter said gently but firmly, kneeling so Maria could see her face. "The bridge is gone. Vehicles can't reach us. Once we cross, there's dry ground and transport waiting." Maria swallowed hard, her eyes darting to the rushing water. "I can't swim," she whispered. "If I fall, you won't," Carter said. "We won't let you." Specialist Danielle Ruiz stepped into position on the left side of the chair, testing the river with her boot. The water moved faster than it looked, swirling around submerged rocks and fallen branches. It dropped suddenly about 10 feet out. Ruiz warned, "We go slow." From above the bank, Staff Sergeant Keisha Morgan climbed down carefully, mud sliding under her boots. She had seen fear before, awe, paralyzing fear. But this was different. This was the fear of someone who knew their body couldn't save them if things went wrong. Morgan placed a steady hand on Maria's shoulder. "You're not crossing this alone," she said. "You're crossing it with us." The first step into the river stole Maria's breath. Cold water surged around the wheelchair's wheels, instantly darkening the metal with mud. The chair lurched slightly, and Maria cried out, her arms lifting instinctively as if balance alone could keep her safe. "Easy," Carter said. "We've got you." They moved inch by inch. The river pushed back. Within seconds, the water reached Carter's knees, then her thighs. The current tugged hard, twisting against the chair. Mud sucked at their boots, threatening to pull them down with every step. Halfway across, it happened. The front wheels dropped suddenly into a hidden dip. The wheelchair pitched forward violently. Maria screamed. Water surged up over her legs as the current grabbed the chair like a living thing. Ruiz shouted as she fought to keep her footing, her knee slamming into the riverbed. "Hold it!" Carter yelled, gripping the handles with both hands as the force nearly ripped them free. Morgan splashed into the water from the bank, grabbing the side of the chair just as another surge twisted it sideways. "I'm losing it," Ruiz gasped. The river roared louder, as if sensing weakness. Maria sobbed uncontrollably, panic overtaking her. "Please, please don't let me die here." Carter's arms burned, her boots slid. For a split second, she felt it, the terrifying realization that the river could win. But quitting wasn't an option. "Look at me, Maria," Carter shouted. "Breathe. I need you breathing." Maria forced her eyes open, locking onto Carter's face. "On 3, Carter said, voice steady despite the chaos. "We lift." Ruiz planted her feet. Morgan braced her shoulder against the frame. 1, Carter counted. 2, 3. They lifted. Muscles screamed. Water exploded outward as the wheelchair rose halfway out of the river, mud cascading down in thick sheets. Maria clutched the frame, crying out as fear and hope collided inside her chest. The current slammed into them again. Ruiz slipped, falling to one knee, but she didn't let go. Her teeth clenched so hard her jaw ached. "I'm not dropping her," Ruiz said, voice breaking. Neither was Carter. She dug deep, past training, past exhaustion, past pain, into something older and stronger. The reason she joined, the reason she stayed. With a hoarse shout, Carter hauled the chair forward. The river loosened its grip. They staggered into shallower water, breathing hard, bodies shaking. The wheelchair wheels touched firmer ground, but the fight wasn't over. Ahead of them loomed the final obstacle. A steep, slick riverbank churned into a wall of mud. Almost there, Morgan said, though her arms trembled. They pushed. Boots slipped backward. Mud coated their uniforms, faces, hands. Ruiz fell again, catching herself just before sliding back into the river. Maria whispered prayers through sobs, her fingers digging into the armrests. "One more push," Carter said. Together, they heaved. The wheelchair crested the bank and rolled onto solid ground. For a moment, everything went silent. They collapsed around Marie, kneeling, sitting, gasping for air as the river roared behind them, furious and defeated. Maria broke down completely. She cried with relief so powerful it shook her entire body. She reached out, grabbing Carter's muddy sleeve. "You didn't leave me," she sobbed. Carter knelt beside her, eyes burning, chest rising and falling rapidly. "We never were going to." Ruiz laughed weakly, wiping mud from her face. "Next time," she said between breaths, "I vote for helicopters." Morgan leaned against a tree, watching the river with narrowed eyes. "That thing wanted her," she said quietly, "but it didn't get her," Carter replied. In the distance, the sound of engines echoed, rescue vehicles finally reaching dry ground. Sunlight broke through the clouds, casting a warm glow over the muddy clearing. No cameras captured the moment, no medals were handed out, no headlines would tell this story, but one life was saved, and sometimes that is the greatest victory of all.